What's going on, everybody? Welcome to this episode of the Beer Chasers. I'm Preston. We're joined once again by Matt Geleske, Musquito County Brewing. Matt, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good. So we got some IPAs on the dock today. We got some stuff from Victory. Tell them what we got.
We have Anniversary 19, which is their Session IPA, and Hop Ranch, their Imperial IPA.
Yeah, so we're going right from Session to Imperial, skip in the middle.
Skip in the middle.
All right, I'm ready to do this. Ready to drink some beer?
Bookended. Let's go.
Let's drink some beer. Victory 19 is a session IPA brewed to celebrate the 19th anniversary of Victory Brewing. It has a malt bill that includes Pilsner and Carapils, and includes Simcoe, Citra, and Chinook hops. It has an ABV of 4.5%, an IBU of 40, Beer Advocate rates it at 82, Rate Beer rates it at 87. Alright, so up first we have Session 19.
Session 19.
Yeah, so this is their Session IPA. Do we know much more about it?
Session IPAs are usually lighter, and 4.5% usually is about where they top out. They try to pack in all that IPA punch without giving all the IPA alcohol, and most of them are pretty successful. Not my favorite style, but we'll see how it is.
Alright, let's go ahead and look at the appearance on Session 19. It has like a cloudiness to it.
A lot of the cloudiness in IPAs come from dry hopping. Dry hops will leave a little bit of matter behind, even after it's filtered or fined. But I would say it's an acceptable amount of cloudiness. It's not overly cloudy. It looks in line to me.
Yeah, looks good, looks nice. I mean, it's got a pretty color to it. Nice bit of head. What do you want to rate that?
I say appearance-wise, nice straw color, looks good. It's got a lingering white head on it. I'd say that's a 4.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. 4. Let's go for the smell. Don't really pick up any kind of hop. I mean, if it's there, you got to really search for it.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden in the back. If anything, I'd say it's a little spicy, spiciness in the background.
Yeah. You don't get much malt, much hop. It's just kind of, I don't want to call it flat, but it kind of has a very neutral kind of smell.
It's kind of lackluster on smell, in my opinion.
All right, what do you want to rate the smell?
I'd probably rate the smell a 2.
Yeah, I'd agree 2. I mean, there's really nothing popping at all. There's a little bit of spiciness when you search for it, but other than that.
Yeah, you have to kind of look for the aroma to get some out of there.
All right, the best part, taste. Cheers. It's lacking hops. I mean, I guess it's a session IPA, so I don't know if it's supposed to be like super hop punch, but
I'd say this is in line with most of the session IPAs I've had.
Okay.
There's it's a delicate balance between that malt and the bitterness. So when you're taking all of the alcohol or malt away from it, you have to kind of scale back the hops as well. So
okay.
I'd say this is in line with a session IPA. But with that said, I don't find it very hoppy at all.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put it in the IPA. It's almost, to me, it's like a hoppy blonde ale.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. Like, I would almost expect this to be like a Pilsner with some hops or something like that. So yeah, for sure. It tastes nice. It's not like repulsive tasting, but I think it's confused.
And I think I'm glad you mentioned the Pilsner. I think some of that is, I don't know what the brewery uses to make this, but I'm picking up on some Pilsner malt. There's some sweetness in the beer, and I think it's playing with some of that hop bitterness.
Yeah.
And I think it's masking what the hops could bring to the beer. With that said, though, session IPAs are very difficult to balance, and I would find this one is balanced.
Yeah, I'd agree. So what do you want to rate the taste?
I'd rate the taste 3.
I'd say 3. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much what I expect. I mean, tiptoeing up to 3. Like, it just barely stepped over the 3 line.
Definitely.
What do you think on the mouthfeel?
Mouthfeel, I think it's carbonated right. Session IPAs, you're going to want to get a little bit more carbonation out of them.
Yeah, you want kind of crisp and refreshing.
Crisp and refreshing, exactly. It's by nature a thinner beer. You're not going to get a malt profile from like a porter or anything like that. So
right.
I'd say probably a 4.
Okay, I'll say 4 as well. I mean, definitely. I think it's nice. So overall, where's that put Session 19?
I'd say a solid 3.5, 3.75. Personally, if it had a little more hop aroma to it, I would have rated it higher, but I'd say 3.5.
I'd say a 3. I mean, I think it meets exactly what I expect of a session IPA. Again, it's a little confusing, so I think some of the higher scores get knocked by kind of that little bit of confusion. So I call it a 3. It's definitely not like, oh, that's not a session IPA, but it's definitely nothing that's like blowing me away. Like, oh my god, you got to go down to the store and get this one.
No, it's definitely a session IPA, and like I said before, it's not particularly a style I'm fond of. But
right.
In that, it's also a difficult beer to balance. It's a very difficult beer to make and ferment. So I agree.
Yeah. All right. So there you have it. Session 19. Hop Ranch is an Imperial IPA that features a Pilsner malt base with Mosaic and Azacca hops. The beer is stated to have a full, juicy hop character while expressing notes of mango, pineapple, and tart citrus fruit. It has an ABV of 9%, an IBU of 80, Beer Advocate rates it at 93, Rate Beer rates it at 98. All right, so up next we have Hop Ranch. So this is their Imperial IPA.
Imperial IPA.
All right, so let's take a look at the appearance. Cloudy again, but I mean, I guess it's a little more expected in this style. Or?
A little more expected.
Yeah.
The hops will do that.
It looks light.
It is very light. It's kind of a straw pale color.
I almost think it to be like a little more kind of approaching the red color.
Usually they're in the 6 SRM range. I'd probably consider this more of a 2, 3.
Yeah, it looks like a Budweiser almost. I mean,
yeah,
you didn't know any better.
It's pretty light in color.
Nice fluffy white head.
Fluffy white head. With Imperial IPAs, the alcohol will make the head dissipate sometimes a little faster than you typically expect.
So we will rate the appearance.
Say 4, 5. It's brilliantly clear.
Well, 4 to 5, that's a range. Which one do you want?
Well, let's say 4.5.
4.5, all right. I mean, I'll say 3. It's what I expect. I mean, it doesn't look spectacular. Yeah, you know. Let's go for the smell. I don't get a lot of hop.
I don't eat a lot of hop either.
And that's surprising, being that it's an Imperial. You'd expect to get, you know, some really big hops up front. So maybe they just use a lot of bittering hops. There's just not a lot of aroma in there.
You know, Victory is on the East Coast. I believe they're in the Philadelphia area.
Oh, okay.
So this might be your more standard East Coast
Okay.
kind of Imperial IPA, which they're not as heavy on the hops with.
Okay, I'm down with that.
So, with that said, I'm still having a little bit of trouble finding a lot of hop aroma.
Yeah. And it's kind of similar to the session IPA we had earlier, where it's, I don't want to call it flat, but it's just very neutral. There isn't like a ton of like flavor coming off. I don't get a lot of malt. I don't get a lot of hops. It's just, I don't know, kind of flat.
Yeah, I agree. You know, with double IPAs and Imperial IPAs, you kind of expect some sort of floral, fruity, piney, citrusy, something to jump off, or spicy. And like you said, this is kind of flat.
So what do you think on that?
I'd say aroma, I have to say 2.
Yeah, I go 2 again, so that's pretty consistent with Victory on these IPAs so far. Well, that's part of the taste. Cheers. Now, see, this is an Imperial I could drink. It's not very hop forward. It's very malt forward.
It is very malt forward.
It's a nice malt. I like it.
It is. Again, I might be getting a little bit of Pilsner. I can't say for sure, but there's a definite hop sweetness. I mean, malt sweetness in there. I think the hops might be getting a little bit towards the end of their lifespan. That might be contributing some to the sweetness that we're tasting.
Yeah.
Generally, the reason why I like Imperial IPAs a lot is that the malt will balance the hops. And I would say this is almost balanced a little bit more towards the malt.
Yeah, which I like. So I'm going to rate this probably higher than you will. But, so what do you think?
I'm going to give it a 3.5 on flavor.
I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think it's damn near perfect. I mean, if it just had a little more hop bite, you know, you're expecting some big hops for an Imperial, and that's what it's missing. And again, maybe this bottle's kind of a little closer to the end of its life cycle. Again, I don't know exactly the freshness on it, but I like the taste. I love the malt, and I love the hop that's there. I mean, it's for me, it's good.
It is good. And with what you said about the bottle, I think that I would like to try this beer again, perhaps at the brewery when it's fresh.
Yeah, we're off the line.
But we have a bottle, and it is what it is.
Yep.
And I'm going to have to say 3.
Okay. What do you think on the mouthfeel?
Mouthfeel, I think it's pretty spot on for an Imperial IPA. I think it's balanced. It's got some body to it, which balances out the hops pretty well.
Yeah, would you call it medium or light medium? It's kind of
light medium.
On the doorstep of medium.
It finishes drier. It doesn't finish too dry. I'd almost say it finishes about like a West Coast you'd expect to finish. I really think the carbonation is spot on. Usually,
yeah, it's great.
You don't want them overly carbonated. I think this is perfect. And I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 as well. I like that the sweetness is there and it coats, but it's not that like thick syrupy sweetness you get from some Imperials where it's just like, you know, there's so much malt in there that it gives it like that syrupy flavor. This is sweet and approaching a thickness, but not syrupy. So I enjoy that.
It's true, and I think the brewmaster and the yeast that they're using is very well attenuated to an Imperial IPA.
Awesome. So overall, where's that put the beer for you?
I'd say 3.75, approaching a 4. Not my favorite Imperial IPA, but definitely a solid example of an Imperial IPA.
Yeah, I'd give it a 3.5, 3.75 as well. I think it's definitely a good example of the style. Again, it's slightly confusing, but again, maybe it's the East Coast, maybe it's the date of the bottle that it's just kind of missing some of the hops. But other than that, I enjoy everything else pretty much about it. All right, so those tastings complete. That's going to wrap up this episode of the Beer Chasers. So we started with Session 19.
Session 19 was your standard session IPA. It was pretty in line with session IPAs. Didn't really knock me down, but it wasn't a bad session IPA.
Yeah, the impression I had was like a little confused. It was kind of flat in the smell, so nothing spectacular, but in line with style.
It was in line with style.
So for this beer, would you go to the store and pick this one up again?
I'm going to change it up a little bit. I'm not sure I'd go to the store to pick it up, but if a friend of mine had it on the beach and it was a hot day, I definitely would drink it, but it wouldn't be something I would seek out.
Yeah, definitely a lawnmower beer. If someone brought it to the party, I'd have one or two, but I'm not personally going to plunk some money down for it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, and then we had Hop Ranch.
Hop Ranch. It's your typical East Coast double IPA, Imperial IPA, more malt forward than hop forward. I was a little disappointed by the lack of aroma I was expecting off of it, but again, it could be reaching the end of its life. I thought it was balanced in flavor.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything. I like the maltiness in it, and I think this is more kind of my style of Imperial IPA, but, So would you go beer chasing for this one?
If it was at the brewery and it was fresh and the brewery was close by, I would definitely stop in and grab a pint and taste it, but I don't think I'd chase too far for this one.
Yeah, I think I would go to the store and pick this one up. Again, this is more my style of an Imperial. If I was ever in the mood for an Imperial, which is hardly ever, because we do these tastings so often that I get my IPA fill. But if I had some friends coming over and I knew they liked IPAs, I think I would definitely go pick this one up. I don't know if I'd go 3 hours to the brewery to go pick it up, though. It's not that spectacular. I think I'd rather trade for some other of the bigger ones out there that we know that are great.
I'd agree with that.
Awesome. Well, that's going to wrap up this episode. Matt, thanks again so much for helping out.
No problem. Thank you.
All right, we're the Beer Chasers. Matt, Preston, we'll see you later.
Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. And stop. Beer is good. Beer is good. Beer is good. Let's go drink some beer. Beer.